Hey, Steve Zelenardi here with Treviso Realty. Just a real quick update on the current market. Current inventory, 19,171 units and 402 sales. Very similar to last week. We just dropped about 100 on inventory. Again, we're going into that nice, still in a descent. Just remember, we're in season is relatively what they say is Halloween till Easter. So we have a few months till we get to Halloween, and not everybody pops through. They might just come in and out until like Jan, Feb, and then they're here a lot more of the like an on a daily basis rather. Like they'll stay down for 2-3 months. So ultimately, we are going into season. So we'll see a dip, and then until we don't see a dip anymore, we're going to see obviously. Sellers that want to sell their properties, they're going to list them during in season. So we should see a little bit of a lift of inventory. But again, way better than last year where we started. So even if we get to 23,000 units, it's fine because, you know, let's as long as we can shave that all off, because we're at 26,000 last year. So we can shave that all off and get it down to like 17,000 by next year around this time. It'd be a fantastic market. For Estero, we're at 691 and 691 units available for sale, for inventory, and then 13 actually sold. So it's exact same as last week, plus or minus 1 or 2. We're having a hell of a year here. We're recapping. Obviously, we've been working our asses off for 3 years straight to build a brand, to build notoriety, and also for people out of state, clients out of state, and clients out of country. So we've been working nonstop, relentless to make sure that we are everyone's point guard. We want to be your quarterback. You call us, we're going to get you your property, but also we're going to introduce you to all the trades we use, all the professionals. So it's going to be linear. You're going to save money. It's like you're hitting the ground running. And again, there's no cost associated with you. Just got to deal with our company. So what we found is that we had, obviously this was a transitional year, and we knew this going into end of 24. We planned for the year. We knew there was going to be a transitional year. That's why we doged early. We did our own government efficiency program, because in November we started shaving down all our expenses, which was, thank God, because we were bleeding so much money at some point because we're popping so much money into whatever we were doing. We could have gone bankrupt by mid of this year if we didn't figure this out early. So we kind of shortened down all the expenses and kind of got us down to like a soft hovering landing. Now we can take off again, which is great. So now ultimately we're seeing that big lift on both sides of the border, where we're at a total 30 deals for the year, which is fantastic. I'm really happy with that. Last year we did 30 full year. I think we can knock in another 10 to 15 units in here, so we should get this over 40 deals this year, which is quite exciting. Up north, we're around 30, 32 deals, something around that nature. So currently, both sides of the border, we're at 60 deals. And this is not a massive team that's kind of producing these numbers. This is just individual efforts from me and Mike. And then obviously we have our administrative staff, Elisa, then obviously marketing manager, Trent, and a few other people we got to call here in, and when we get really, really busy, we can't manage it all. So it's very linear. And yeah, it's quite exciting because we feel we can get this Florida business to about 100 deals a year, no questions asked, plus a development section, and then also the property management section. So right now we're in heavy build mode, which is fantastic, and we have the energy to do it, and that's why we spent time in New York City last week rather. It was a quick trip. Wednesday fly in. We did a bunch of filming on Wednesday. Spent time in Times Square. We stayed in Times Square that night. Thursday we did some sightseeing in the morning. We went to go see, Brooklyn Bridge. We went to go see the Staten Island Ferry, where the Statue of Liberty is, and then we went to obviously visit the 9/11 Memorial. Then there's so many other stuff we wanted to do, but we didn't have the time to do it. And then we flew out Friday morning, like at 6 a.m. was boarding, which was brutal. And between all this, we got a Airbnb disaster where I screwed up on the book date, and then they didn't even release it on the day we needed it. So we ended up sleeping at the airport. Long story short, we slept at the airport. Why? Flight was at 6:20. We needed to be at the airport at least 3 hours early. It was already 11 o'clock at night. We slept on a park bench in the airport like a bunch of hobos. But fun stuff. Still recovering because I'm so tired as hell. But this is what we did out in New York City. And, the whole trip, what I was expecting, and I'm glad I went down there because obviously media pumps it up a bit more than what it is. And again, we picked very select communities, but I was expecting something different, like broken down, like unmaintained, unpatriotic and stuff like this. And then we got down to, we did 3 boroughs. We did We did Brooklyn. This is Diker Heights, so we would have been over the Verrazano Bridge, somewhere here, because the Staten Island would be here, right? Yeah, so somewhere, yeah, there it is. Diker Heights and Bay Ridge. We did this community here. We went over to the Verrazano Bridge into Staten Island. We spent some time here in some communities, and then we went down to Howard Beach in Queens. So ultimately, these are very highly dense Italian communities, a little bit of Irish as well, but hardworking communities, very patriotic. And how do I know that? I had to make a call at one point to my client that lives in Howard Beach. Remember, this is John Gotti land. This is where the infamous mob boss of the Gambino family lives. So this area's got to be the safest community ever. I checked the crime rates in this community. It's lower than Estero. So, and Estero's got like 12 major crimes per 100,000. It's actually lower there. So, because it goes to tell you that a little bit of mob rule goes a long way in security. But that's just a funny story. But I had to call my client at some point because I'm like, hey man, was there a festival in this community? Like, did you have some sort of celebration like you do yearly? Like, what's happening? Because all I saw was every home had an American flag, you know, like I have in my home where it's screwed into the front of the face of the home. And because they have their electrical poles outside the ground and they run the power from house to house outside. And every electrical pole, like those wooden poles, had a flag on it. So you just drive down these streets and it looked like a parade went on. And I called my client. He was like, no, that's how it is year round. So that was nice to see and quite amazing. Obviously, New York is a special place. I can see why the pride coming out of there, to be honest. It's got a energy like beyond. It's like Duracell on steroids. Like especially when we stayed out in Manhattan, we stayed 1 minute walk to Times Square. We had such a great time. Went to Italian restaurants. Almost got robbed once, but nothing crazy. I was expecting a lot more craziness. We rode the subway from 42nd Street, which is Times Square, all the way. If you kind of look down here, we rode it all the way to the tip. Where's Manhattan? Oh, down this way. This is Manhattan. So we went from like 42nd Street. I guess it's out this way. I'm not even sure. It might be out this way, and then all the way to the tip of this where the ferry is. And ultimately, yeah, there was no issues on the subway. I was expecting to see some craziness. Maybe the hours. We noticed after 11 p.m. Shit started getting funny, especially in Manhattan. You're starting to see like the zombies erect at some point. But other than that, loved it. I'm pro New York. I really loved it. Loved the people. We had a great time. We actually went to Hartford Funding. That's Joel's head office. We got to meet all the staff. Obviously, I wanted to make that stop it as well because a lot of our loans are going out that way, and it's nice to kind of see the back end, how organized they are. They're all nice people. Again, all very Italian. So we kind of hit it off. Obviously, we're all North American Italian, like first generation, second generation. Italian American, Italian North American, and ultimately, so we get along quite well with food and culture, which is kind of great, which is fantastic. But that was it, and we're going to see, like, the goal is to kind of see what we want to do is with this, because we are having a lot of people still coming in from New York, and I can see the pride why people don't want to leave, but there is people leaving, and the only way I can tag it, and I had to think about this, because it's not like it was falling apart, it was maintained, and there was crime ever, especially the boroughs I went to. It's only going to be because your money will go further, because what we heard was that Florida is only for the rich, and you can't afford to buy into Florida if you're coming from the Northeast, which is false, clearly, because what we did is we kind of showed properties in these 3 different boroughs, the price tag, and then what you can get. We're gonna lobby it up here in Southwest Florida, especially Estero's like not the cheapest in Florida. Like we can get you into Fort Myers, into Cape, into Punta, and that's like a fraction of what Estero is. So I want to compare with like a community similar to theirs, where it's a really good upscale community, high income per capita. This is why we kind of matched these different boroughs. Everything was strategically done clearly. Average income per household in Estero's over $100,000, and that's similar to these boroughs. So I want to show you what you made your average is $100,000 in that area, but what does it cost to live there, and what's the cost of housing? So you can get the same similar product in Southwest Florida, in Estero, great community for a fraction of the price. Some of these communities were average sales price for between. Well, they range from like Staten Island to like Diker was basically $700,000 to $1.1 million average sales price, which You know, like anything up north where we're from is like 1.5 to 2 million. So it's like that seems kind of relative, even kind of cheap. But in Estero, you're at 520,000 for average sales price. So ultimately, you can take $200,000-300,000, sell your property, take $200,000-300,000 off, you know, in cash basically, and you can come down to Southwest Florida, pay the home in cash, have no mortgage, or use that money to set up a business. So there's a lot of advantages similar to what we've done. Also, calmness. When we landed in Southwest Florida, there's not a feel. I always say it, and people make fun of me, but they make jokes about it. It's like when you land and you walk out those sliders into like the you know, the departuring lanes there, or the departuring exit. It's like a hug from your grandmother. It just feels so like warm and cozy, and that's how you feel coming out. And then the quietness. It's so calm. It's like, I can understand why people vacation here, but imagine living here, you know, year round, having that calmness, and you going into New York and having that buzz. Because I was actually telling Joe, because Joe's from Chicago as well, I'm from Toronto, New York. It's all a hustle, right? You know, I got to New York, people thought it was going to be a disaster for me. I rented the largest truck possible. It was a 7-seater Expedition, Tremor, jacked up. I drove that bitch through Manhattan like no one's business, you know, drove it like a yellow taxi cab, so there was no issues with that. But I even told Joe, I don't want to lose that hustle, though, that we have, because we have that extra gear in us that from being in these very busy cities. I don't want to become docile, also living in you know, calmness and by the beach. So it's nice to kind of visit these places and re-engage that, like, you know, that feel, that energy, because I had a great time, honestly. I'm definitely going to bring my kids back. I want them to see it, because that, again, still talking about New York, but driving down, when you're driving in, I forgot where we came, or maybe from Brooklyn. It might have been from Brooklyn, but driving towards the skyline, oh, it's just absolutely, it's breathtaking. Would I want to live in a condo in the city? No, but the sight of it is just enormous. It's just so beautiful. It's gorgeous, I gotta say. I bought a New York Yankee hat. I love it. It's all good. Steve Zelenardo is pro New York. But that's pretty much it, guys. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.